The Natura D3i is generally delivered in 2 cartons. The smaller carton contains the filters, filter brackets, installation kit and CO2 regulator, while the larger carton contains the Natura carbonation and chilling machine itself. The carton can be easily opened simply by cutting the straps. Just lift off the top, remove the sides, no risk of hurting your back, and remove the top pad and lay it aside. This contains the faucets and the drip tray. Remove the protective foam padding and the shipping bag. And generally inspect the unit for any damages or scratches. Now you can remove the faucets from their bags. Basically lay all the parts out. You've got 3 faucets, 3 washers and 3 handles. As you can see, one faucet is bigger and it's got a green washer. This is for the carbonation side. Assemble it simply by screwing the handle onto the faucet. Do the same with the other 2 faucets. Now we must fit the faucets onto the cooler itself. It's important to note that there are splines on the faucet and splines on the faucet connection on the cooler. These must align to make sure that the faucet is in a vertical position. When you're happy that it's vertical, tighten it by screwing in an anti-clockwise direction. Also make sure that the little lever is in the downward position on the right hand side. Now do the same with the other 2 faucets. You've got the carbo with the green washer on the left, the cold with the blue in the middle and the ambient with the white washer on the right. Now we can take the parts out of the filter boxes, the filter bracket, installation kit and CO2 regulator. So we'll start with the CO2 regulator. The CO2 regulator has got 2 gauges. One is for the level of gas in the bottle and the other controls the pressure that goes into the chiller itself. And then we have got the installation kit, which comes with 2 different size tubings, a 1/4 inch for the CO2 and 3/8 inch for the water feed. We must have 3/8 inch supply water feed. It also comes with the installation kit, which is a shut-off valve and a pressure regulator non-return valve. And also we've got the 3 filters. They're already assembled together, the 3 filter housings. So the first thing we're going to do here is observe for the water outlet on that right side and the water inlet is on the left hand side. So remember that, or mark it if you need to do that. Now at a later stage we're going to be fitting the filters into these 3 and they're going to be fitted in this orientation. On the inlet side we're going to have the sediment filter. In the middle we're going to have the carbon filter and finally we're going to have the high performance nano ceram filter. But right now we're going to lay the filters aside and we're going to fit the filter bracket onto the filter housings. Comes supplied with screws, so there's 12 screws in total. First of all, line up the screws in the slotted side and just put in 1 screw on the slotted side without tightening it fully. This way it will allow you to adjust if you need to match up the other holes. Now we can go with 1 from the middle by simply sliding it over and back, and finally 1 on the right hand side. Now we can tighten up these 3 screws and fit all the other screws as well, all 12 screws. Now we can remove the 3 housings from the 3 filter heads. That way we'll just have the bracket and we will proceed to fit the bracket beside the cooler. It can be located beside the cooler or underneath the cooler. In this case we're going to fit it under the cooler. So first of all, just put your bracket up against the wall and align and mark where the 3 holes are going to be drilled. Now drill your 3 holes, probably 2mm holes. Now partially screw in the 3 screws that are supplied. Don't fully screw them, just partially, because we need to hang the bracket on them next. Now we can hang the filter bracket on the 3 screws and secure them in position tightly. So next we're going to fit the filters. We'll start with the sediment filter. Just place the filter into the housing and tighten the housing up onto the head, just by getting the thread correct and tightening it in a clockwise direction. This needs to be pretty tight or it can leak, so make sure it's tight. Secondly, we fit the carbon filter. Again, the same procedure, screw it fully up and tighten it well to make sure that it doesn't leak. And finally, we've got the nano ceram filter, and same procedure again, just make sure it's tight. So now we can get the installed kit. This is the side that's going to be connected to your water mains. This is the pressure regulator, also a non-return valve. It's already set, you don't need to do anything with that. And this is the shut-off valve. Again, keep it in the shut position. This is just a schematic of the layout of the way that the filters should be fitted to the cooler. Okay, so after you've connected it to your mains water supply, then all you need to do is just push it into the quick fit push fitting on the inlet side of the filters. Make sure it's securely pushed in so that it doesn't leak. Do the same with the other side with the 3/8" tubing that's applied. Just push it firmly into the water outlet side of the filters. And connect the other end of this 3/8" tubing into the water inlet connection that's actually on the cooler itself. Again, make sure that it's pushed firmly in and just pull it back again slightly to make sure that it's well sealed. It's already marked with the water supply. Now we fit the CO2 regulator to the bottle. Make sure the thread is correct. Some bottles have different threads, but generally speaking they match. Sometimes it's necessary to change the nut. And make sure that's tightened well, usually with the 27mm spanner. Now with the 1/4" tubing that's actually supplied with the kit, we fit this into the push fit connection on the regulator. Again, push it firmly in to make sure it doesn't leak at a later stage. And connect the other end of this 1/4" tubing into the CO2 inlet connection that's on the cooler. Again, it's already marked. Again, push it firmly in to make sure that it doesn't leak. In order to connect power to the unit, we must remove the top, because the power connection is inside. So remove 2 screws from the top. It's very easily done. One on the left hand side and one on the right hand side. And afterwards it's just a matter of lifting the top up vertically at the front and pushing it back gently until the 3 tabs push out of the 3 slots, and just lift your lid off. There's the 3 slots in the back, and you can see the 3 tabs on the top there. Now this is actually the power connection. This is where the power cord is going to need to be connected into. So in order to get the power cord into the machine, you must lift the machine up on its side slightly and push it up through the hole that's in the bottom, the same one that the CO2 and the water feed is in, and just guide your power cord up the inside. Get your hand down, be careful you don't get cut in there, there's a few sharp edges, and bring the power cord across and just push it firmly into the IEC connection. Do not switch on the machine yet. Now we need to fill up the cold tank, the cold bath, with water. It's important to fill it up with deionized water, not regular water. You will need approximately 3.2 US gallons, so it takes quite a bit of water in there. So just pull your copper tubing gently out of the way and lift off your lid. It may be tight in the beginning, but it will snap upwards. Now you have access to the cold bath. You can see in there your stainless steel cooling coils. There's 2 coils in there, one for the still water and one for the CO2 water. And the copper coil that you can see is the actual cooling evaporator. This is where the cooling is going to take place. So as I said, just pour the water in there gently. Be careful not to spill it. It takes approximately 3.2 gallons, so it will come within about 25mm or 1 inch from the top of the bucket. Make sure all the coils are pretty well covered. Now we've got a switch on the side of the machine, so we are ready to switch on the unit at this stage. When you switch on the machine, it should illuminate. And also, you can check that your fan motor is running. You can check that your compressor is running simply by leaving your hand on it. You get a vibration, and you can check the agitator fan in the cooling tank to make sure that that's rotating as well. It's just a visual to make sure. We're now in a position to put the lid back on the cold bath. Just press it down firmly. At this stage we can put the top back on the unit. Just a matter of locating it on, make sure the 3 tabs on the back pull into the 3 slots and push it downwards at the front. And again, just replace the 2 screws with the Phillips screwdriver. One on the left and one on the right. There's no need to over tighten them, just gently tighten them. At this stage we've turned on our water supply, so now we can turn on the gas supply. So turn on your gas fully, open the gas bottle fully, and now adjust the regulator until it's between 4 to 4.5 bar. Generally speaking, this is enough. Sometimes you may need it a little bit more. That's the CO2 pressure gauge, and this is the CO2 bottle level gauge. It basically just indicates the amount of CO2 left in the bottle. And this is the incoming water supply. It's a good idea to have this turned on before you let CO2 into the unit. So first of all, we start to draw some water from the unit. Remember, we're drawn through the filters, so you need to flush a couple of gallons of water through each side. You should be getting a good flow rate from this side. It's a good check to make sure that you're getting approximately 2.2 US gallons of water per minute from the ambient side, because this is generally the pressure of water that you should be getting after the filters. Then take a couple of draws from the cold side and finally from the sparkling side. It may be necessary to draw quite a few litres of water from the sparkling side to get the CO2 right. There's a little lever on the right hand side that you can adjust up and down to regulate the level of CO2 in the water. Again, it's important to know that CO2 water, in order to get a good level of carbonation, the water must be chilled. So you must give the machine time to chill first. It will chill down to about 3 degrees, maybe even 2. So now we'll take some draws on the CO2 side, on the sparkling side. As you can see, the water is not yet chilled, but we've still got sparkling water. The level of carbonation is approximately 5.6 grams per litre. And that's it. Your Natura unit is now fully installed. Enjoy your chilled and sparkling water. Thank you.